Alrighty, people. I'll do a follow-up video on my video I did about a week ago with my Winchester Model 70 bolt action 30-06. My favorite rifles. I've got, let's say, my three favorite rifles. I have three. That Winchester Model 70 is probably battling out with number two with a rifle that I will do a thing on probably in a week, another week or so. But my number one all-time favorite rifle is it's a bucket list rifle of mine. My dad and my uncle had one when I was growing up, 70s and the 80s. Both of them had this rifle in 30-06. They did a lot of bear hunting with it, a lot of deer hunting with them. Both of them killed a lot of game with the rifle. My dad seemed to have issues with his here and there, but the one I have now, I've not had a single issue with it. I always thought when my dad passed away, I'd probably get his. That's why I say this thing's kind of been a bucket list rifle for me. But life deals you cards, and anyway, Dad ended up giving my little brother this rifle. So my little brother has it, and so I figured if I was going to get one, I was going to have to buy one. So I bought one about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. So what I'm talking about is the beloved Browning BAR. Yes, there she is. My dad and my uncles were 30-06 rifles. This rifle here is a 270. And of that era, these rifles, you had the BAR, and you had the Winchester 742 Woodmasters and the 7400s. But the only two, I think Winchester did make an automatic, semi-automatic hunting rifle back then. I can't remember what it was called. Winchester, maybe a Model 100. I don't know. But anyway, these were the two most popular ones, was the Browning BARs and the Remington 742s and the 7400s. Like I said, this rifle is 270. She's got one-piece Leupold scope mounts. She actually has a Vortex. Is this a Vanquish, maybe? I think this is maybe a Vortex Vanquish scope on it. Been a right nice scope. I think this gun, this is not a John Browning design. I believe his grandson designed this gun. I believe they were released in 1966, I believe. Him and another guy designed these guns. Of the two, I'm not really going to say one's better than the other. They both had some flaws. I believe both of them, well, I guess right now, I guess I got to open it up to get this bolt released. This is where I think the Remington outshined the Browning. The Browning has a box type magazine, but it is made onto the full plate here. So the Remingtons, you just put the magazine in the bottom and it locked into place. And that's all you had to do was a lever on this side that you pushed or pulled or something and it breached the magazine. The Browning, however, you have to attach the mag to the full plate and then put the full plate in. The other problem with that is when you've shot all your rounds, the magazine is what holds this open, holds the bolt open. The only way to drop this magazine at this point is pull the bolt back a smidge, drop the magazine, then the bolt flies forward. The bolt does not stay open. The Remingtons, the bolt stayed open. You took the clip out, or magazine, not clip, I'm sorry. You took the magazine out, put a new magazine in, and there was a lever on the side, on the button, on the other side, on the, is what I would call the driver's side. I'm a car guy. I've been in the car business all my life. On the driver's side, there was a lever that would drop the bolt. The newer Brownings, there's a lever right here that would drop the bolt, and I'm not sure if I've not had one in my hands long enough to find out. But anyway, this is where I think the design of the Remington was better than the Browning. Personally, I think the Browning all around is a better rifle, but that's personal opinion. They both had, see if we can get this, they both had the rotary bolt system. This is like, I think, a six lug. And if you can see a little bit, that bolt rotates right in there. But both the Browning and the Remington had the rotary bolt design. But there's nothing to hold this back. There's nothing there to hold this back. If you happen to be in a state that allows you to shoot 5 or 6 deer on one day's bag limit, and the magazines in these hold 4 and then 1 in the chamber. So if you shot all 5, or you were a bad shot, you shot all 5 rounds and you didn't hit nothing. You didn't even get a whiff. The gun holds open on the last round. You've got to reach up. You've got to pull the bolt back, pull the lever at the bottom. There's a lever right here at the bottom. Open the floor plate. That's going to let the bolt go forward. You got to pop the magazine out, reach in your pocket, put a new magazine. The front goes first. The front goes first. Then the back snaps in. Then you shut it. Then you've got we're on an empty cylinder. Then you load around in, and then you get to going at it again. So, kind of awkward, kind of time consuming. So, but I do believe this is a better gun, and that's just personal opinion. I do believe this is a better all-around gun than the Remington. I don't like the magazine option with the floor plate, and you've got to attach the magazine to the floor plate and all that jazz. I don't like that. I think the Remington hat design beats this. But I guess young Mr. Browning, John Browning's grandson, had a reason for what he did. As far as the accuracy on these rifles, everybody talks about free-floated barrels. This nut right here, your sling swivel stud right here, this is what attaches this forearm to this barrel. So you can't really say this thing has a free-floated barrel, because if you put a dollar bill down here and slide it down the barrel, it's going to stop right here at that sling swivel stud, because that's where the barrel attaches to that to hold it into to hold it in the gun, the forearm onto the gun. So is there space in between here that you probably could get a dollar bill in between here? Yeah, I'm not really played with it, but it does look like there's probably enough room in there. But once you get to this stud, this goes all the way through to the barrel, so it's attached to the barrel there. So I don't know that you could call this a free-floated barrel at all. Accuracy-wise with this gun shoots, for the most part, right at 1-inch groups. Hand loads, factory loads, a little over 1 inch with factory loads. Nothing spectacular. Of course, when I first got the gun, you hit the forums and you talk to people in the Facebook pages. Oh, my gun shoots a half minute of accuracy, blah, 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 blah. No. These Browning BARs don't shoot that. They just don't. I'm getting right at now. I have changed my system of shooting. I've gone from a lead slid type kind of rest to bags and a thing up front, like a bag, steel 3-point, like the Caldwell. I can't remember what that thing's called, but and it's got a sandbag up front. And you put anyway, I've gone to that in a rear bag, and the gun shoots better, just under 1 inch with most. But the gun is right at a 1-inch gun, right at a one MOA, or just a smidge over 1 inch. But that's all you need for a hunting rifle. I mean, this gun, you're not shooting this gun 300, 400 yards. It's not what it was designed for. These automatics, this particular one has a very low round count. I've not had any issues with this gun. My brother has my dad's gun, and my dad gave it to my brother, and they had issues with it. My dad had issues with the gun. My brothers had issues with the gun, jamming and not feeding, failure to feed, stovepiping. And I think what it all come down to was my brother was using the original magazine that my dad used. I think my brother was the original magazine that my dad's been using since the day he bought this thing with my uncle, when him and my uncle bought theirs. My brother got a new magazine for it, and or he used one of mine, because I've got a handful of them, and he stopped having issues. And I think Dad's original magazine, the spring was weak on it. Been gotten real beat up here, back on the follower right here, got beat up really bad. But I want to show you something pretty interesting about these mags, though. All these come out of a Browning box. Notice all three of them are a slightly different color. This magazine is from Portugal. This is 270 and 30-06. This is a Portugal magazine. This is from Browning. This one is a darker color. It's 270 30-06, and this is made in Italy. It comes from Italy. This Browning, comes from Browning. And this is the one that came with the gun, and of course this one says Belgium, 270 30-06, and well, obviously this is a Browning. Now this particular gun here is a made in Belgium by Fabrique Nationale Herstel, assembled in Portugal. But the magazine, original magazine in it, was a Belgian magazine. I guess that's because everything was made in Belgium. But this was so stamping underneath the form on this in July of '86, I believe is what the stamping says, July of '86. So this gun was built July of '86, and this is a made in Belgium by Fabrique Nationale Herstel and assembled in Portugal. So true Belgium-made Browning. I guess some people probably say no. The die-hard Browning guys probably say no. No. That thing wasn't built in Belgium. It was, parts were made in Belgium, but assembled in Portugal. So I don't know. And you're splitting hairs here. Same design, same. In my opinion, same. But anyway, so this is my #1 favorite deer rifle. Even though I've owned it, I've only owned it for about a year and a half, 2 years. But like I said, this is a bucket list gun. This is a gun that I grew up around and always wanted. My dad and my uncle had them, and I always wanted one of these things. And like I said, my dad gave my brother his Browning, so I had to go out and buy my own. And that's okay. That's all right. I got my own. This is mine. And this thing will probably be passed down. My son's left-handed, but an automatic, he'll probably get it for a little while, and then my grandson will probably get it. So it will get passed down. This is an heirloom type rifle, and these are good guns. Nothing against the Remington 742s. I mean, a lot of people called them the 742 Jam Masters, the 7400 Jam-O-Matics, a bunch of things, bad names, but I can't really say. I mean, every gun, if you don't clean it, you don't take care of it, all guns will act up and fail and have issues with them if you don't clean them and keep them clean and keep them serviced, and don't abuse them and beat the hell out of them. But anyway, #1 favorite rifle, Browning BAR 270 Winchester. This one was built in 1986, July of '86. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a video next week on this is my #1 rifle, and then I have another bolt action rifle that kind of sway back and forth between #2 and #3. I have three favorite deer rifles, and the other one will be the third, and this is #1. And the Winchester and this next rifle, they battle it out to see who's number 2 and who's number 3. But anyway, stay tuned. We'll do a video on that rifle in a week or so. But anyway, all right. Have a good evening, folks.